Hello to all the Web3 enthusiasts out there. This is Max speaking, and welcome to the new exciting episode of Synopsis. Please welcome our today's guest, Jordan Jefferson, CEO and co-founder of DogeOS. Hi, Jordan. How's it going?
Hey Max, it's going well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to see experts like you all the time here. And if you don't mind, let's get straight to the action because I have a bunch of questions prepared for the day. It's going to
Let's
be
do it.
kind of a mix of some personal questions, some, of course, technical devoted to DogeOS main part, and even some philosophical. So hopefully this is going to be
Awesome.
interesting for everyone. Well, to begin with, let's make some introductions since it's your first time here at Synopsis. Could you please tell us about your background and how did you come across black blockchain industry? As far as I know, it was really early in like 2011.
It was, yeah. So I'm a software engineer and founder for the last, over 20 years now. Pretty much been coding and building online businesses, apps, whatever, since a very young age. And Yeah, I got into blockchain probably like 2010 and kind of launched our project in 2011 because someone introduced me to it. I mean, I'd never heard about Bitcoin. It was obviously very early, but I had built a business some years earlier when I was in high school, and this guy reached out to me and he said, "Hey, I saw this business that you built. I want to build something like it, but using Bitcoin." And I'm like, "Okay, what's Bitcoin?" And so he, told me about it, told me what it was, and yeah, we built this platform, which was basically a rewards platform for Bitcoin in the very early days. So you could get cash back for online shopping in Bitcoin. You could like do surveys and spend 5, 10 minutes doing a survey and earn half a Bitcoin back then, and little things like that. So it was pretty cool. It was fun. We definitely paid out what's now probably hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin at the very least. Uh, I hope all those people held. I have no idea, but that was sort of my intro to blockchain. I think it was so early that I don't think we really appreciated, or at least I didn't appreciate, what we had our hands on. I was like, oh, this is cool tech, and it's very, very nascent. I could see maybe in a few decades it getting adopted slowly for payments and maybe the price going up, but I certainly never expected this.
Wow, what a nostalgia and what a golden time it was. Like when you say about cashback in Bitcoin, might sound really crazy for the newbies, especially. Well, and you are actually, even if you treat it as this beginning as fun, anyway, it makes you a pioneer in the field. And since you know blockchain much longer than the majority in the space, what is the most valuable insight about the blockchain space you can share right now?
That's a good question. I mean, I think the one thing that always gets me in this space is how everyone is, I don't know, I guess like very, very fickle with their opinions or their optimism or their pessimism. I think that, the market can hit an all-time high and then it goes down 5% and everyone's like, well, that's the top, it's over, prepare for the bear market. And this extends not to just like traders or people, this extends to, VCs who like one day they're deploying tons of capital, the next day they're all scared. And I think that, having seen, I think the first time I touched Bitcoin, it was single digits. So like, let's say like four, five, six, seven, $8. Um, having been through a lot, having seen the market go up, tens of thousands, down tens of thousands, and so on. Um, Everyone talks about stacking Bitcoin, having a long-term thesis, but in practice, people get like really jumpy at little price movements. So I think, look, it's a long game. I think back to those early days, and we still haven't achieved even, a small fraction of the adoption for crypto's kind of original purpose, mainstream payments, I guess. And so, yeah, I mean, my insight is relax and focus on the long game. But I also think we're still early. I think the space feels very, very early to me. And in some ways, it's late, or in some ways, it's very mature. I think there's a lot of incredible technology. People, I think the number of, brilliant people who've come into the space and the amount of capital that's been put towards research and building, frontier tech is absolutely incredible. But then at the same time, on the, the use case side, on the mainstream adoption side, I think we're still very early. I mean, there's still like kind of one core use case for crypto, which is speculation. Of course, there's many others emerging, but I feel like we've got a long way to go.
Wow, sounds encouraging, and actually, it could be a great fit also for the our final parts where we ask for some insights and advices. But let's start with this as an encouraging beginning for the today's discussion. And yeah, it was a great warm up before the next huge, really huge question. Not typical for our editor, but I really see him. Uh, being inspired for this after learning your background. So I do hope we can deal with it from the first attempt. So let's go. The question is, where is the line between blockchain conservatism and progressivism? So some people argue that blockchain networks don't need functionality they didn't have organically or that wasn't planned in their original roadmaps because this ruins their original purpose. Since you develop a whole ecosystem ranging from gaming to AI on top of Doge, your point of view must be opposite. How do you personally solve this ship of Theseus paradox?
Interesting question.
Yeah.
I think I think core to what we're doing is that we're really not trying to fundamentally change Dogecoin or the Dogecoin blockchain itself. We're really just trying to build more use cases. And the original purpose of Dogecoin, well, I guess the original purpose was a joke and to make fun of crypto. But the kind of purpose that the community has adopted is for payments, right? It's a brilliant layer one, second biggest proof of work network in the world, fast, cheap, peer-to-peer electronic cash. And so I think building use cases in an ecosystem on top of it is not fundamentally changing it. And I think, the ship of Theseus is building like rebuilding a ship like plank by plank, and then every piece is replaced, and now it's a different ship. Or I guess the paradox is it the same ship, right?
Yeah.
I would say that this is more like filling the ship with a bunch of fun people. It's the same ship, it's just more fun, and maybe you filled the ship with, maybe someone sings and maybe someone sells empanadas and maybe someone, repairs your shoes, whatever. We've now made the ship like a much better place to be, but it's still the same ship and it's still sailing in the same direction. So, yeah, I think it's actually kind of just true to Dogecoin's original vision. We're not fundamentally altering Doge itself. And I actually think, I would go further and say it's not just, true to Dogecoin vision. I actually think it's really important for the Dogecoin vision. If we see Dogecoin as money, then why do we have no DeFi? Why do we not have an economy, an on-chain economy that uses Dogecoin as money? Why does Web3 not have assets paired against Dogecoin, which is objectively one of the single biggest monies in all of crypto? So I think, that kind of stuff is actually, very much in line with what Dogecoin is and not, fundamentally changing it.
Awesome. Dealt with it brilliantly and great examples. Thanks. So we see that it really aligns and the ship is getting just better and funnier. And this all is one of the greatest, I think, examples in the history when the joke gone wild and it's really cool. And yeah, so easily we rolled into this discussion, and let's move on to the main part devoted, of course, to DogeOS. So could you please explain what it actually is, and also is my Doge wallet a standalone product or a part of our DogeOS ecosystem?
Great question. So yeah, DogeOS, we call it the app layer for Dogecoin. What it really is building a EVM layer on top of Doge to enable smart contracts, to build the type of things that I just alluded to, right? Whether it's DeFi, whether it's decentralized games, other applications. There's not really more or less ways to build decentralized software on top of Dogecoin right now in a really great way. And so that's what we're trying to enable. At a high level, it's really just about, helping grow an entire ecosystem around Dogecoin. There's not a ton of builders in the Dogecoin space. There are some, but I think it's, due to sort of limited capabilities. And so by, building infrastructure to support those capabilities and, everything else that comes with launching an entire ecosystem or growing an entire ecosystem. We just hope to, enable the community to build apps, build businesses in and around Dogecoin, bring more people into Dogecoin, and create more opportunities. And then My Doge, our wallet, which we launched about 4 years ago, which is the number one Dogecoin mobile app in the world. It is a standalone product. We think it's important that there's a distinct mission to just build the best wallet, but the vision behind DogeOS is very much tied to the wallet. We have, let's say 500,000 users in the wallet and many, many, many who have downloaded it over the years. Not every single user who is curious about Dogecoin, searches Dogecoin in the App Store and downloads it sticks around because there's not that much to do, and it's sort of hard to sell everyone on the, hey, you should buy some of this Doge and now you should send it to your friends. I think if we have more opportunities, if there's games, if you can start, you download the app, you're curious about Doge, maybe you start playing a game, maybe you earn like a Dogecoin or even a fraction of a Dogecoin. I think it's a better way to retain all of these users who are curious about Doge. So I think, we see My Doge becoming not a wallet really, it's just a Dogecoin app, a Dogecoin super app, if you will. And it is kind of the entry point to many people into Doge. So we're just trying to make it possible to, for us or anyone to just create experiences that onboard a new person into the community and like keep them there, basically.
Get it. So extremely detailed. Thank you. And why did you choose actually to build on Dogecoin and not on Ethereum or Solana, which is actually a pretty common story recently?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a kind of crazy thing to do. Um, I think that ultimately we love Doge, but beyond that, felt we wanted to like test the thesis, I guess, that there was like a huge hungry community that was being underserved. And so we launched the wallet. It was really an experiment. My co-founder Alex and myself just spent, I don't know, 4 months or so, like 24/7 coding, just being like, hey, can we make a really fun Dogecoin wallet and launch it in the App Store? And we did that. We hadn't raised any money. We didn't have any marketing. We just kind of tweeted it out there and launched the app. And very quickly we realized, yes, we were right. Like the community was hungry for people to build fun stuff in the Dogecoin space. We got immediate positive feedback. Everyone not only wanted to use it, they wanted to contribute. They wanted to help. The Dogecoin Foundation reached out to us. We met them, and so we realized, okay, like this thesis was proven. This community is there. They do want stuff. They are hungry, and so we just thought it'd be really fun to kind of take that on and see what else we could build, listen to the community, see what they want, and just kind of keep going and going. I think that Dogecoin can be an ecosystem that rivals Ethereum and Solana. And I think it's much easier to make that a reality than it is to just launch a new blockchain, and try to convince the world that that's a competitor to Solana. I think Dogecoin is already one of the biggest currencies, one of the biggest networks, one of the biggest communities, this IP known around the world. To me, that lends itself to a massive ecosystem. I think it's kind of an easier task than one might think. So that's sort of what excites me about Doge.
Get it. Sounds great, actually. And when people are hungry for new products, it comes to building actually a lot of these products. What, in your opinion, have been the most useful tools or features developed within DogeOS?
That's a good question. I mean, ultimately, we're just making the infrastructure for others to build on top of. And although we have a lot of dreams of Doge apps and games and stuff that we've wanted to build along the last few years, and we'll probably build them once the network is live. So on our end, we're just trying to make it really easy to build. It's fully EVM equivalent. There's, if you can, if you've built something on EVM before, you know how to do it. And if you haven't, the good news is EVM is the easiest platform to vibe code for, with the wealth of examples out there on the internet, and the AI is kind of well trained in it. And at the same time, we're making it really easy on the wallet side with MyDoge to embed a wallet right in your app. Users don't need to download anything. Users don't need to have a Chrome extension. And if we're talking about what are people building so far in the ecosystem, I think that there's a bunch of cool stuff that I know the community will love around meme creation and AI tools. I think, I talked about DeFi. I think it's really important. And the maybe ironic thing that I think suits Dogecoin is that we don't just have people building, some basic Doge DeFi. We actually have some of the most innovative DeFi projects that I've seen building on the chain. And our goal really is, Dogecoin is the people's currency. Can we create an ecosystem where, rewards are flowing back to the people? Right now, Dogecoin is traded almost 99% on centralized exchanges. That means those handful of big exchanges make all the money from trading fees for Dogecoin, which is actually like tens of billions of dollars. If a little bit of that, moves on chain and starts happening in DeFi, it actually means that Doge holders can share in the profits, and we can have that flywheel actually helping to support more and more builders and apps and opportunities in the ecosystem. So I think that's kind of, the most useful stuff. But when you talk about useful and Dogecoin, I think that the number one utility is actually fun. And so if we can just maximize fun, and if builders make fun stuff, whether fun for you is like making money through trading or whether it's just playing silly Doge games, I think that could actually be the most useful thing. If there's one adorable, fun, silly, viral game that uses Doge, I think that's a huge win. And I would call that very useful.
Well, sounds like a clear vision of a wonderful mission in the world where so many things are going digital and artificial. Having fun is such a great contribution to the humanity, I would say. And all these people we're speaking about, your community with this huge hunger for new products, for fun, with this huge feedback. Could you please tell us who they actually are? Who are the typical users of Doge OS?
That's a good question. I think Dogecoin is quite unique in that many like active Dogecoin users are not necessarily like broader Web3 users. So they might have had Dogecoin for years. I mean, I know people who had Dogecoin since fractions of a penny, held it all the way to 70 cents, and they're still holding now. But they might have never touched Solana or Ethereum. They might have never used a dApp in their entire life. And so there's a big chunk of the community that are sort of, they're not new to crypto, but they're new to Web3. And I think that's a really exciting opportunity because we don't like, they don't have the same expectations as existing Web3 users. They're not looking at this ecosystem and being like, hey, it needs to have this needs to work like this. Where's my airdrop? Where's the meme coins? Like they're just kind of a blank slate. They're just curious and they want to learn and they want to see, okay, what can happen here? What could happen? And so I think that's really exciting. I think it's a cool opportunity for builders. Like, hey, you can be different, do something different, and you have a blank slate. At the same time, I mean, there's a lot of people from across Web3, from Ethereum communities, Solana communities that love Doge. I mean, it's one of the most beloved coins in the world, beloved memes in the world. And so a lot of those people are certainly, coming over to build or, excited to try Dogecoin apps. I think the nice thing about Doge is like there's not really maxis. Like if there's Dogecoin maxis, it's like in a funny way. Like it's kind of as a joke. No one's like saying, "Oh, Solana sucks. You have to use Doge. Ethereum sucks. You have to use Doge." Like that's I've never heard anyone speak like that. No one says, "Oh, don't use Bitcoin." Now, certainly there's the reverse. I've met a lot of Bitcoin maxis, but I think Doge is just welcoming. Like there's no reason you can't be like a big Solana guy but still love Dogecoin. There's no reason there's not, something fun to do in one ecosystem just because most of your time is spent in another ecosystem. So, yeah, Doge is very global, all ages, all types of people. And I think that's like the fun thing because each, Ethereum, Solana, they kind of have their culture already. Doge culture is just about memes. There's no like on-chain, ecosystem culture yet. And we can just kind of, experiment and try to be different.
Well, sounds great, and it's really I would say a pleasure for me to hear things like this. So Doge OGs are made different. And one more thing about the community. So since there is a completely different mindset in the heads of so many community members. Could you please tell us what is the most prominent trend in the Dogecoin community during this market cycle, which is not over yet, I believe?
Interesting. I think that, you know, right now I see a lot of like a lot of optimism in the Dogecoin world. But it's also like I would say people are like cautiously optimistic because a lot is going on. So people are watching us and like, wow, DogeOS, this is a huge deal. This could bring a whole wave of apps and experiences to Doge. And they're waiting, they don't necessarily. Some people are very familiar with Web3. They sort of get it. Some people are like, okay, like I gotta wait and see like what this is, but I'm really excited about it. At the same time, we're seeing, institutional adoption. Really like a wave of institutional adoption in the first big way ever for Dogecoin. And so people are looking at that with, I think, also sort of cautious optimism. But of course, this is the people's coin. I think there's somewhat, skepticism around like the bankers and the, public companies buying Doge. But at the same time, there's like an excitement, like, oh, wait, this means there's adoption. This is going forward. So I would say we're at a really interesting place where there is, yeah, there's like excitement. I feel like there's excitement brewing that there hasn't been since that initial big run with the Elon Musk moment on SNL and all of that. I sort of feel like we're after that there was sort of a reset, and the real community stuck around. The guys who jumped in just to ride that wave left, and over the next few years, yeah, things have been brewing. So think I think right now people are like really excited. I feel like there's a number of big catalysts in the Dogecoin world coming, including what we're building. Um, and in the meantime, I think the number one trend has always just been memes. I mean, a lot of the communities stick around about memes. They're not like so concerned about the price of Doge. They're not so concerned about developments on the blockchain. They just think it's funny. They love using Doge and they love memes. So that's kind of always the trend. I think we saw that at the beginning of this year, Department of Government Efficiency. Um, that was probably one of the biggest uses of the Doge meme of all time. And so I would say that's kind of characterized this year is like the meme continues to live on and get crazier and crazier.
Well, get it. So the fundamentals are not changing. Memes are the basics, and so it will be. And yeah, what about the upcoming year? Actually, 2025 is about to end, but let's drop some announcements for 2026. Maybe could you please tell us about your plans, about the plans of the ecosystem? What should we keep an eye on and put the notes?
Yeah, I think 2026 is going to be the most exciting year for Dogecoin ever. And I'm pretty confident about that. In 2026, there will be hundreds, if not thousands, of Dogecoin dApps live on DogeOS. I think there's going to be stuff that really blows people's minds, whether it's just super memey and ridiculous and fun, um, or whether it's sort of, fulfilling our vision of the people's chain and offering, normie approachable DeFi opportunities that, actually let you earn more interest in your bank account or, make money in like a safe, decentralized way. I think that we are going to see the wave of consumers that continue to adopt Dogecoin increase and increase because we're really trying to build for those users. We're really trying to build for a normal Web2 consumer who is, curious about crypto, but they might jump into, the Solana meme coin casino, lose all their money, and then go, okay, well, I'm out. We're trying to build, approachable opportunities, educate users, bring them into like the fun of the Doge community. And so yeah, I think that, we're gonna have millions of new users in 2026 coming into Doge. I think it's an opportunity for the community to welcome them, to teach them, to educate them. But it's also just an opportunity for, anyone to come experiment, take advantage of that, build something crazy, different, weird. fun, awesome, there is an audience for it, and it's a it's a hungry audience, and it's one of the most welcoming communities in all of crypto. So, yeah, I think 2026. We actually probably say this every year, like year of the Doge, but I think 2026 will really be the year of the Doge, and probably the biggest year since 2011. I don't necessarily mean just the price going up, but that was also 2011, peak mainstream awareness of Dogecoin as well.
Well, sounds extremely confident. So I 100% believe you. And of course, we'll be looking forward to see what this huge year will bring. And well, I see we have been discussing this for almost half an hour, but the time flew so fast because it was so easy going. And before we move on to the final traditional part with the advices, uh, if you don't mind, could you please tell us some personal information without, of course, financial advices and stuff like this, but as a Doge Maxi to see how the mindset works, could you please reveal what's inside your personal investment portfolio?
Sure. Yeah, so obviously Dogecoin. I think you could assume that without asking. I definitely hold Bitcoin as well. It's the first, well, Bitcoin was the only crypto, back when I first got into it. And yeah, I mean, I'll always love Bitcoin. I hold Solana as well. I think I mean, the president launched a meme coin on Solana. You can't deny that that's sort of cemented its place in culture, in a kind of like a way that can never be replicated. Regardless of how you feel about that, I think Solana's here to stay, and they've built a incredible product, but also like I feel like Solana has quite like a sticky culture, and like really cool culture of builders. And I hold Ethereum as well, and I think at the start of this show, I said, people in crypto that like change their minds about things and like, just because the chart moves a little bit. I think Ethereum's a great example. A few months ago, like everybody was basically like Ethereum's going to zero, Ethereum's dead. Um, it's over like blah blah blah. Um, I was telling people like I don't know, like I'm pretty sure. I never tell people like what to buy, but I was like I'm pretty sure like we should be buying Ethereum at, I don't know, it went down to like $1,400 or $1,200 or something. I personally bought it. I was like, this isn't going to zero, guys. This is just, people are so quick to jump on a little narrative like that. And now, sure enough, now everyone's talking about Ethereum going to $10,000. No one's talking about it going to zero. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe that either. But yeah, I hold Bitcoin, Doge, ETH, Sol. That's pretty much it. I mean, I'll dabble on a hot meme coin tip if a friend gives me one, but I can't say I've had a lot of success.
Okay, got it. Thanks for sharing. And yeah, this market, the general mindset is crazy with like a roller coaster going up, going down, and changing so fast. Of course, the fundamentals are here to stay. And still, at the same time, you never know what happens tomorrow. But yeah, just everyone should decide for themselves. And what I got from today's discussion is that having fun actually is the best thing you can afford in this reality here. Well, actually, this also sounds like a great advice, but still, let's devote a separate part of interview to it. So a time to address directly to the audience with some call to action, piece to advice or piece of advice, sorry, whatever you find useful for people to hear right now. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, on that note, yeah, maximize fun, whether you're a builder or whether you're just trying to have fun, because, you know, in crypto, there's a lot of ways to lose money. There's a lot of ways to make money, but if you're having fun and losing money, it's a lot better than not having fun and losing money. So that's one piece of advice. And beyond that, I mean, going back to, how many, the decade plus, I guess, that I've been in crypto, wow, that's kind of crazy to say. You know, build through the bear market. Don't be one of these people who is just like, oh no, the price is going down, it's all over. I think the best thing anyone can ever do is lock in and build during the bear market, because this is crypto. Like you said, it's a roller coaster. And if you're behind and then, oh, now the market's good, now you're building while it's good, now you're raising money, now you're launching your product, and oh, it's back to bear market. That's like the worst case scenario. So whether you're a builder or whether you're just an individual, I mean, like, lock in, be productive, play the long game. I mean, we've been playing a very, very long game in that, we've just been building free software for Dogecoin, with the hope that this can continue to grow, the ecosystem can grow, and we can turn it into a real business. So yeah, my advice: play the long game, don't stress about the charts, and maximize fun.
That's great. Thanks for sharing. And actually, yeah, this is uh, sounds like such an easy to understand thing, but many people are missing this part. And actually, it's the first time, if I'm not mistaken, when our guest suggests this uh, mindset for our audience. So yeah, guys, don't even put no's. Just try to have fun. I can personally tell that I managed to have fun even during losing pretty big amounts of money. You learn from it, and if you don't learn, maybe it's not for you. And yeah, that's it for the day. Actually, I'm happy to have this kind of positive ending and the entire discussion, because after this interview, we're going for a short break, about 2 weeks. So everyone who will be missing us, come back to this video and rewatch it. Be positive, catch the positive vibes from Jordan. And guys, of course, stay tuned not to miss the big things coming. See you in more episodes. Bye bye, everyone.
See ya.